Okay, so another day leaving work right at 2 p.m. Very happy with being able to do that again and not being at work super late into the evening. However, I think we are fully adapted now to my afternoon workouts again. Not super hot today, a little cloudy, so we're on the right path there. Um, but got a meeting at 3 with a potential new athlete, so I'm gonna do some sprints in my backyard right after that. Maybe before that, depending on when I get home. We had a tree tumble over during a storm on Friday, so we've had a giant tree just kind of chilling in our front yard this entire week. They're finally cutting that down. We're off. We were off balance. There we go. Now we're even. So they're cutting that down today. So it also depends when they're going to be done. Because I am not going to go do sprints on the street if there's a bunch of guys cutting down a tree in my front yard. I'm not going to do that. A little too much secondhand embarrassment or just not wanting people to stare at me as I'm working out. So we'll see what we get in today. We're gonna do some sprints. We're gonna do something. It's just a matter of when, where. Yeah. But besides that, not really much new here. Headed down to Florida next weekend for the Florida Weightlifting State Championships. Look at that, I caught that early. For the Florida Weightlifting State Championships, we got just Bernie competing, so we'll be down there for that. The real unfortunate part is she competes Friday at, I think it was either 5 or 7 p.m. I think it was 7 p.m. Which means I'm leaving here at 11 a.m. on Friday to make that 6.5 hour trek. Thankfully, I think it was supposed to be, God, we keep getting off key here. I think it was supposed to be like in southern Orlando, which was going to be like an 8.5 hour drive. But thankfully, it is just north of Gainesville, right in line with Jacksonville and Tallahassee. So we don't really have to go that far. Still, 6.5 hours. Nikki can't come with because she's got to work. So I will be just chilling in a random backwoods Florida hotel room for that night and then driving back the next day. Stop at Buc-ee's, have a nice little lunch there. But really, yeah, that's about all we got. So didn't really have much to talk about today. So started scrolling through Squat U's Instagram, and of course that gave me some inspiration. Not a fan of a lot of his work. A lot of what he recommends is a bunch of low-level stuff, which claims fixes the issues, but at the end of the day, it's most likely that all the low-level stuff is actually just such a deload that they become detrained, and then they fix the issue that way by just not training, and the pain goes away. Crazy. But a lot of the stuff that he talks about is trying to be as symmetrical as possible. So, asymmetry and imbalances are completely natural to the human body, and you should be imbalanced. If you just think about this at its very base, your heart is pointed to the left, so you have a little bit more weight on the left. Because of that, your left lung only has 2 lobes. Your right lung has 3 lobes. Your liver is then only on one side, not on the other. Your liver weighs like 2 or 3 pounds. So already just looking at how our organs are split up, we're not balanced. So if already, just to start this out, our organs are not even throughout our body, there is really no possible way that we could be balanced, because our internal self is not balanced, so how could our external self be balanced? So already just on that, because we're imbalanced on the inside, if you were to move perfectly and have the perfect balance, perfect symmetry on each side, that is actually going to be asymmetry. Because now, one side that has a lung, or one less lung, has a liver, has a bunch of other shit, is moving at the same as the other side that doesn't have some of that shit. Okay, well, you are now imbalanced because one side should have more, one side should have a little bit less. Like, you have a dominant hand for a reason. Like, it's dominant because it's going to be the better one to use. So you should be a little bit better on that side. You should be a little bit more imbalanced on that side. So if we just look actually at our vital organs, at the very simplest level, we are imbalanced. And if you look at any elite athlete, anyone who is good at anything, really in general, not even just lifting, imbalance is where greatness arises from. If you look at any top-level CEO, top-level business person, they're probably not that great at having a family or at doing a bunch of stuff that requires socializing because they are so far gone into one area that the other area is going to have to lack. Same idea, like if you look at LeBron James squatting, like that was a huge one a while back. His squat doesn't look great. So are you telling me that LeBron James needs to work on his squat to become a better basketball player? He needs to become more balanced to become a better basketball player. That is hopefully not the case, because LeBron is arguably one of the best in the world, if not for sure top 3, top 5. Along then that same vein, we look at baseball pitchers. Baseball pitchers throw with one arm. Clearly, they do not alternate back and forth. The imbalances that they have actually allow them to be better on that arm. If you take a pitcher and you try to even them out from their right arm to their left arm, there's actually a good chance that you could make them a worse pitcher. Because how all their muscles are tightened, how all of them are weakened in some areas, how all of that sling and everything just works together, they require that imbalance to perform at that high level. Imbalances do not make you weaker. Imbalances do not make you worse. Imbalances are where you succeed from. Now, obviously, if we are so imbalanced to the case where it is going either causing injury already or going to cause injury, okay, we have something to work on there. But if you just have natural imbalances that are not causing any problems and don't look like they would cause any problems, like nothing obviously dangerous, that's completely normal. That's completely fine. You will never reach a point of symmetry just simply because your body is not built to be symmetrical. Again, talking about your organs, talking about some other things. So you're going to go on this pursuit of trying to be as symmetrical as possible. However, you're never going to be. So it's going to be a fruitless pursuit because you're trying this entire time to become more symmetrical when what you really need to do is just get stronger. You can do things like unilateral work to balance some things out, but if you are wholeheartedly taking a step back from getting stronger, getting more technical, getting better, to work on being more symmetrical, you are doing yourself a disservice. Again, the body is not symmetrical. You are never going to be symmetrical. Stop trying to be symmetrical. We look at the split jerk. Like, no one at the top level, no one who isn't like maybe in a high school or college weight room is doing the split jerk switching their legs. So no matter what, you are going to have an imbalance there, and you should have an imbalance there. Your front leg needs to absorb a lot of force. Your back leg needs to be able to bend to sink down to absorb that force. The legs are doing two different things there. If you have one that are both equally really good at one thing and equally really bad at the other thing, or equal across the board, that dispersion of force doesn't really work out too well. Imbalances are just natural. Again, we look at the human body. We just look at that. Imbalances are natural. And simply taking a giant step back from training just to focus on getting more symmetrical is not really going to be great. Because either A, let's say your right arm's stronger than your left. Okay, so now you are training your left arm harder to catch it up to the right. Okay, well, in order to do that, you're training your left arm harder, but if you're like matching reps left to right, you are now just detraining your right side as well. So you are getting worse on one side just to make the other side better, so you're at a net loss, or you're at a net zero, if not a net loss even. If you're then just putting extra work into that left side, again, you're still to that point where now your right arm is still either going to be the superior one, and always will be because that's your dominant. Like if you're riding, you're driving with certain arms, you're doing things with that certain arm because it's your dominant, it's always going to be better, and it should. Imbalance is natural to the human being. Imbalance is something that we are born with and something that we should not try to outdo. The human body is a very smart thing. We as a species have survived for a very long time because the body is good at adapting and it's good at surviving. If we think that we are smarter than the body, And we think, oh, all this imbalance we see is not natural. The body shouldn't be doing that. That is a very high level of hubris because, again, the body has survived for this long for a reason. Some of you people have only been alive, I'm saying this as being nearly 26, some of you have only been alive 30, 40 years. The Homo species has been around for a couple million. So maybe you are not smarter than the species that has been around for that long and has evolved to do these things. So don't waste time working on imbalances unless it's like a glaring, dangerous issue or you do have an injury. Besides that, imbalances are natural, and imbalances are actually probably the things that make you elite. Like, if you are so imbalanced that you can throw a 110-mile-per-hour fastball, you're going to the MLB. Congratulations, if you can throw it with accuracy at least. If you are so imbalanced in your life that you are solely dedicated on work and destroy all your other social life, well, congratulations. You may be able to build a pretty damn successful company and become pretty damn rich. Imbalances are not innately bad, and please let's stop treating them like they are.